You guys...
Probably because urine cures infections. There is a book about that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. There was a... I read a story about a woman who had a leg infection. It was a staph infection. She used urine on it. And she was on the Trans-Siberian Railroad, and there was no way to get to a hospital. And the thing was clearing up. And when they came to a stop and she got to the hospital and they started treating her, it got worse and she died.
God.
Yep.
So now, you guys are all on my Facebook wall, everybody?
Yes?
Well, do you notice all the cool stuff there?
The tweets?
I hooked Twitter into my Facebook wall.
Yeah.
Every time I tweet, it now goes to Facebook. And if you click on the link there, it takes you to my Twitter account.
Yes.
Barb, your camera slipped up.
How do you share it?
Your camera, I'm seeing...
How do you share it?
You go...
How do you share your tweets?
You go to my... You click on that, you go to my Twitter, and then you have to set your Twitter up so your tweets go to Facebook. And when you've done that...
How do we do that?
You go to change your user profile on Twitter. You go to, it's on where you change your user profile on Twitter. It's all the way on the bottom.
On the bottom?
Of your user profile on your Twitter account.
So I have to click on me, yes?
Yeah,
At the top, okay.
Well, when you click on that link, it goes to my Twitter, which then you're there. You can just go to you're on Twitter at that point, so you can go click me, and you go to your Twitter, and then you
can, I'm there.
Then you can change your user profile from there. See?
At the bottom of the page? No.
No, when you're on your Twitter...
I am on my Twitter.
Then you have to click Edit User Profile.
Okay. Okay, edit your profile.
I forgot what name you want on Twitter.
Yes. I put a photo, and then there is my name, location, website. I have no website. Okay, got it. Connect to Facebook. I have to click on that, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Done.
And right under it, it says...
Access with Facebook.
That's right. Access with Facebook.
Okay.
And access with your user profile. There's 2 clicks.
Okay.
2 little check boxes.
You know, because yesterday when I saw that you were on Twitter, I went there and I wrote some tweets, but they disappeared.
Oh, really?
And I found them, yes, and I found them clicking on me.
Uh-huh.
So probably it was because I hadn't done this. I hadn't changed my profile.
Right.
Is your internet and connections getting skippy too?
Yeah, mine's skipping.
Are you talking?
Anybody?
Mine is skipping a little bit.
My camera keeps shutting off and there's nothing wrong with it.
I know, I noticed that. Mine is skipping a little too.
It's a Logitech. Maybe it's a day off Logitech.
I want to try and see if now my message keeps. Okay.
You remember Every Which Way But Loose?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Clint Eastwood. I was
Sure.
doing what he did. My video keeps shutting off. I don't know what's up with the crazy thing. Let me try another USB port.
Was Clint Eastwood's video shutting off in Every Way But Loose?
Okay, I have a account. Switch to-
Barb,
Hey, Greg.
did you hook your Twitter up just now into Facebook?
Trying to get my account. Can you, hey, Greg?
Yeah.
Do I still have, or at least I work at the address?
I could not hear you, Barb. Your sound is weird.
Oh, I need to get into barb@wayimmune.org.
Oh yeah. You want to get online?
Was that,
Do you know how to go to web.com? Here, let me get you the URL.
no. I think I'm gonna have to use that email again.
Here, let me send you, I'll send you right here. Shoot. Here's a URL, and your password is, I'm not sure, is it 5 or 6? Franny would know, but I'll get it.
It's not 6 because it's 5 probably.
It's 19.
19?
Yeah.
Oh, she's on the, yeah.
5 and 6 is P. So the link I sent you, Barb, is Barb, as they say in Milwaukee. Aren't you? Isn't that nice that I can speak Wisconsinese, Barb?
Yeah.
Hey, love. Let's talk about your book. I can't do it now. Anyway, that link and then the password should get you in.
The link says not responding, but I'm trying it again.
Well, just try webmail. Try that link. It came up from me, but maybe take the end of it off. You know, take off the. It should be webmail.
Is this Barb's email you're trying to get her into?
Yeah, but anyway.
Maybe we should do this, and you guys should meet after the meeting.
Yeah, sure.
This is all my associated Twitter.
What'd you say, Barb?
So this is the email account that apparently is hooked into my Twitter account.
Oh.
can't get it unless I make a new one.
I'll tell you what I want you to do, everybody. First of all, go to stay on my Facebook page. I assume or go back to my Facebook wall. Go down the Facebook wall and share everything that's there. Just click share on things that you haven't shared. Now, while you're doing that, you're going to see a movie called Immunics Cure College Overview. And I want you to click on that movie and put yourself on mute. Ross, did you watch this already?
Yes,
How did you like it?
very much. I think it's pretty clear and very useful to people who start going to the hub for the first time.
Interesting.
Because it's it guides new people very clearly.
Thank you. Okay, that's great. I've been. Barb, you saw this movie a few days ago, right? I asked you to.
Right.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was good too. I like the tone. It's calm, relaxed.
Okay. Well, then in that case, there's no point in clicking on it. You guys don't need to watch it. I've been putting that 7-minute thing that you watched at the end of every movie I put up.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because what I realized is that most people find you gave me this idea last week, Barb. Remember?
Yeah.
You were telling me I should ask for a donation.
Yeah.
But what I realized is that most people who watch these movies are first timers. Like they're not ready to donate. They just blundered into a movie about curing thyroid nodules on YouTube and watched it because it was interesting, but they probably don't completely understand it or know what it's connected to. Like they don't know the breadth and depth of our work unless they're told. So what I decided to do is put that at the end of the movies that I put up to make them more legible to everybody.
Great.
Because another thing I've noticed is that these movies are like an hour and a half long, some of them, and they like 5 and 10 people a day watch them. Some of them, they're like these things really are getting watched. So and these are all first-time people for the most part. They're just like probably over 90% of them are people who've never heard of this, and they still haven't because we can go for an entire hour without ever saying the word Immunics.
Yeah.
Or
It's true.
or a cure drive or whatever, so they don't know how to find it or what it is or what to do about it and so on. So and also see that people have their next steps, and their step generally is to go to the web college because that's where they are. They're on the web. So their next thing to do is just familiarize themselves with this by going to the web college. Paul, wave at me. Oh, okay. Well, Paul is live. Your camera's working. Barb and Greg are frozen. Mahalo, Paul.
I'm not frozen on mine.
You are frozen on mine. Barb, you should probably just shut your camera off and turn it back on again. Let's see if that works.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did that work for me?
Well, we'll see in a minute.
My computer was looking for a driver update also, but it said that it was okay to work, but it was shutting on and off. Now it's working okay.
Yeah. Seems to be working okay.
It won't let me turn my camera off.
Oh yeah, let's stay there. It probably just takes a little while.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, it just times.
Oh boy.
The reason that I hooked, okay, as I've been talking, are you sharing the things on this page? You could,
I am, yeah.
yeah, just go down the page and share the things that have come up over the last few days. There's quite a few of them. There's one thing I wanted to call to your attention. I don't know if you've all seen this, but there's a graphic here that Franny did that I think is one of the best graphics we've ever had. It says, "We do not all succeed in the same way." So far, 12 people have shared it, so obviously other people than me agree that it's pretty beautiful. And I'm just, I was so thrilled to see it when I first saw it there. So, you know,
Fired?
yeah.
On the Facebook, on your tweets that go to Facebook, they're not shareable. I can
that's
like
right.
them and make a comment
Right,
on it.
I
So.
just explained that.
Yeah.
I'm going to explain this
Okay.
again to you.
I'm sorry, I missed that. I was-
You missed the whole thing. You click on the Twitter link.
Yes, right.
Do that now,
Yeah.
and then you go to Twitter, and you get your Twitter connected
I opened
to Facebook.
Yeah.
Connect
I opened my Twitter to Facebook.
Connector. Did you do that yet?
I'm. Let's see if I'm.
It says edit your profile. You go to your. When you're on my Twitter, you can click
Yeah.
me and go to your Twitter, and then you click edit your profile. And so you edit your Twitter profile, and that's at the bottom. You connect to Facebook, and there's 2 checks to put it on your profile and to send.
Bayard, I did that, but I still can't share your tweets. Probably because they are the tweets you did before I changed my settings on my profile. I don't know.
Whatever. Don't worry about it. Just retweet my tweets, and and that'll be fine. And also give it some time and check it again tomorrow, and maybe you'll have to make some other change or something. And if the problem persists, call Franny and ask her, because she can probably solve the whole thing for you. Franny, did you do this? Or have you connected your Twitter in too? As we.
I'm sorry, but I'm just a little distracted. No, I did not connect it.
Okay, can you do that now and do the sharing and stuff?
Oh, I'm out, so when I get back on the computer, I can...
Oh, you're on the phone.
That's right.
Oh, okay, no problem. I didn't realize that's no problem.
Okay.
You can do it any time. You're our
Alright, good.
you're our techie. You have no problem with any of this stuff. So you don't have to do it right now. Ross, it is a pleasure.
Yeah?
Ross, it is a pleasure to have you as my Twitter follower.
Why?
Oh, and by the way, here's Ross right here, see?
Am I still frozen? Oh, there you go.
Hi, you guys. It's Jen here.
Hey!
Hi, Jen, welcome.
Hi.
Did you get confused? Did you get confused by the time again?
No, I didn't. I had a rabbit.
Ah, you were
Wow.
baking a cake for me.
What's
Well,
the story, Jen?
it's not so glamorous. I had a rabbit emergency. One of my rabbits
Oh.
got out of the yard, and I had to repair the fence and had to get it done. So I've been outside doing that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, what counts is that you are with us now.
Yes, and I found the rabbit.
Oh,
Yes.
great.
The one that there's yeah.
Well, what we've been doing, go to my Facebook wall, Jen.
Okay.
What we've been doing, like I just retweeted, Ross, you can look, if you look on my Facebook wall, I just retweeted one of your tweets that was a retweet of a CureDrive tweet, I think.
I can't see it.
It's on my Facebook wall.
I am there. I am on your Facebook wall.
Well, I see it, and it's definitely there, and it's shared with the public. So, but Jen, can you see it? It's the top thing.
Yeah.
You may need to cure everything to cure one thing.
That's the thing I tweeted. But above it, it says we have to be persistent to get the result. That's one of yours.
And I can see that.
Jen, can you see it?
Okay, I'm just going on to Facebook. Now I gotta get to your page.
Greg, can you see it? It says we have to be persistent to get the result.
You go back to that. I'm sorry, I was on Twitter there.
On my Facebook. See what we did. Let me bring you up to speed, Jen. We connected our.
Yes, I saw that.
We've connected our Twitters to our Facebook accounts. So every time we tweet something, it goes on our Facebook wall.
Aha.
When you retweet what Rosella says, it goes to your Facebook wall, and then we can retweet it.
I don't understand why I can't see it.
Okay, I see it. I'm here.
You might have to refresh Bayard's wall. You might have to refresh that page.
Okay, let me see.
It should be in the top.
Okay.
I'm not doing so well with the Twitter here.
I have to make a new account.
I'm on my account.
Okay, now I have it.
Got it. All right.
Yes.
Good.
The only thing is we can't share that from Bayard's wall because I like it, comment, and I don't have the share option.
That's what we were just talking about.
Yeah, there is no share. There's no share option. You can only share from Twitter.
Ah, okay.
You can go to Twitter.
All you have to do is click on the Twitter link there and go to Twitter, and you can share it from there. And if you're connected, if your Twitter is connected to your Facebook, then it will go on your Facebook, so you will have shared it, see?
Yeah.
So that's how that works, you know?
But what I will share will go on my wall or on your wall?
On your wall.
On my wall.
Yeah. And
Okay.
And there's two places to click. One is share to Facebook and the other is share to your profile, and you need to click both of them. So if you go...
I don't have what you say. I have expand, reply, retweet, favorite. With a star.
No, if you go back to reset your Twitter profile...
Okay.
Go back to reset your Twitter profile, and there you will see, it says where you go to click on edit.
Wait. Just give me a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See,
Oh,
it says
I have lost it all.
It says post retweets to Facebook, and it says post to my Facebook profile, and I've clicked both of them, and that's why mine goes to my Facebook profile.
And that is under what in your account on Twitter?
It's where you edit your profile, at the bottom.
I'm editing my profile.
At the bottom.
Yeah, where it says connect to at the very bottom of edit your profile, where it says connect to Facebook.
I don't see.
Yes, I did that before.
Jen, do you have a Twitter account?
Edit profile there in account.
Jen, you talk to me?
Jen, do you have a Twitter?
Yeah.
Do you have a Twitter account?
No way. I am challenged by Facebook alone. There's no way.
Well, you know what?
Doing.
I'm gonna launch into some things I want to say here. So what you could do, Jen? while you're there, just share the things on my Facebook wall that you can share, and just listen to what I'm going to say. And I'm just going to be everybody should be an audience for a while, and I'll just talk to you. There's some things I want to tell you. Okay? Try to be attentive to what I'm saying while you're doing whatever you're doing. But also try to get a result. Because another thing that we should do is make sure that we have invited all of our Facebook friends to the flu cure. You know, an interesting thing about this flu cure thing, you know, this movie, this flu cure movie is, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes long. And it's like people are watching this movie. So, I mean, we're over 100 people watch this movie already. So, okay, the reason that I did this, like what you're seeing today, the reason that I did this is because we've been talking about this guy, Nate, who is, you know, he's a guy who works at Borders and makes $1,400 a month, and he ends up tipping Cure into global consciousness. And it starts with him doing things on Twitter. That's his story. That's how he starts. He is, if you're going to type, mute yourself. Now, Nate is an imaginary person who's based on a real person. And what happens with Nate is he has herpes, decides he wants to cure it, and he does exactly the opposite of what the usual herpes sufferer does. He decides that he's going to, you know, see if he can do it on Twitter. Like, if he can, if he's going to, he decides he's going to try to cure his herpes on Twitter. And he also has 1,200 Facebook friends, and he has his Twitter account connected to Facebook. And this is a guy, the real Nate, who actually exists, has basically stopped tweeting and Facebooking. I haven't seen a tweet from him. Like, I shared one of his tweets. If you're on my Facebook wall and you go down my Facebook wall, you'll see one of Nate's tweets that I put up there. It's beautiful. You know, he does fun tweets, you know, but he hasn't done one since July. Because he was, you know, going to college and trying to work his way through it, and I guess it probably just overwhelmed him at some point. So,
can I say something about Nate?
Just a minute. Who's missing? Barb, are you there? Barb, I guess, dropped off. All right. Just wondering. Paul, you're there? There's a problem with the call. See, everybody may not hear this.
I'm on.
Okay,
Paul's on. Okay.
I just wanted to say that Nate is still doing Immunics because I sent him a message asking how he was and blah, blah, blah. And he told me that he is still doing Immunics.
yeah. I kind of knew that. I talked to Nate but maybe 6 or 8 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Thing about Nate. Nate is like most people who do Immunics. Almost nobody knows they're doing it. And that's why it doesn't tip.
Yes.
See, if Immunics was the kind of thing like, have you ever seen, hey Jen,
Yeah?
do you remember a few years back there was a video of a dancing baby that went around the web?
I think there's been a few dancing babies, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. This was maybe the first one. I probably got the most notice. Somebody made this thing. It was like this kind
Oh, yeah, it was an animated thing, right?
yeah, it was kind of a special effect thing.
Yeah, that's right. It was.
And within days, millions of people had watched it. And if Immunics was that kind of thing, oh, Greg, go on mute. Let's see what happens. No. Okay, no echo. Okay, good. If Immunics was that kind of thing, it would have tipped, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But unfortunately, let me give you an example. Have you noticed that very few people share the movies that I post on Facebook?
Yes.
Like, if we put up a graphic, and it can be a graphic about curing things, but you'll get usually a little handful of people sharing the graphic. But not the movies. Why is that? Why do you think that is?
That I don't know.
Jen, what do you think?
So, let me understand. They share the graphics? What do you mean? I'm not sure. They're sharing something, but not the movie?
Look down my Facebook wall, and you'll see a picture that Franny put some words on, and it's about success. Do you see it? It's a ways down.
Okay, hold on. Going back there.
That is one of the prettiest things I think we've had.
Okay, so what am I looking for?
It's a photograph that Franny put words on, that are superimposed on the photo. And it says,
Okay.
it starts with success.
Okay, I haven't found it yet.
The word it starts, we have to go way down past some movies. It starts with, we do not all succeed. You see it? It's from last Tuesday.
It's from last Tuesday. Is it below? Stop the illegal killing of whales.
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, is this we do not all succeed in the same way? That one?
Yeah.
We do not all succeed in the same way, and success does not look the same in all of us.
That's a graphic.
Is that the one?
Yeah. That's a graphic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel
Right,
like
okay.
Do you feel like sharing that?
Yeah, sure. That's a good one.
Sure. All right.
I'm sharing. Okay, so people will share those, but not the movies.
Well, look, it says it has like 12 shares. On movies, you see 4 shares: Ross, Greg, Barb, and Franny.
Okay, well, I think that people aren't. Then they're not watching the movie. They're not. So they're not inclined to share it. So maybe people that if they haven't seen it, they're not not going to put it up on the graphic stuff's easy. You see it, it's
Yep.
right there. It says it all, and oh, that's good. I'll slap that up. But the movie's a bigger commitment, I guess. I don't know.
That's true. That's true. And also, even when they watch them, they don't share them.
Okay.
And I've talked to people who loved, I mean, people have told me, I have seen people write on movies a note underneath the movie that they loved it, and they did not share it.
I think it's a symptom.
Of course it's a symptom. The reason that Cure hasn't tipped is because humanity is too ill. Humanity is too sick for Cure to tip.
Yeah.
Cure has
God,
to
it must be frustrating.
Cure has to tip in a special way, or not at all. Well, but you know, Greg, I'll go on mute. Oh, he is on mute. Somebody's typing who's not on mute. Barb? Hello? Barb?
Hello?
I'm
Barb,
on
are you
mute.
there? Barb's
I'm on
there.
mute. I'm on
Oh,
mute.
you were on mute, okay. Well, all right. Okay, so, well, Jen, that's right. It is frustrating, but you know what? The book, The Tipping Point, did you ever get that book? Jen?
Hi, sorry, I'm on mute.
Okay. Did you ever get
Well, I got other people are just, instant messaging me, and it's driving me nuts over here on the.
Okay, do not answer anyone who instant messages you.
Okay, I'm
Just-
just closing.
Ignore they will pop up again. Just ignore them. You are able to do that. Well, test is replying to them a symptom.
Oh, I don't need to test it.
Okay, don't run your symptoms ever. They're interfering with tipping Cure. Now, what was I asking you?
About the movie.
Yeah, I was asking.
That it's great.
I asked you if you ever got that book, The Tipping Point.
Yeah. Check.
Did you ever get that book, The Tipping Point?
No.
Okay. Well, if and when you ever do get it, which you may never get it, but I don't know how much time you have to read and so on. You might be able to download it to your smartphone and, like listen to it. That's what I don't read. I don't have time. Okay? I listen to books. How do you feel about listening to books?
I like listening.
Yeah.
I read or listen, but I don't have a lot of time for reading right now. Just right now.
Well, I decided, okay, with my life, with my busy life, I decided I have 0 time. I don't read anything. I don't read on the web like a little article about something. It's like pulling teeth. When I look up like minerals on the World's Healthiest Food website, I read like just where the mineral is found and a few little facts about it. Greg, go on mute. Thank you. So, now that we've cleared that up, what I wanted to say is, if you notice, the tipping point is that if you ever read the book, it's all about things that are hard to tip. All the examples are like that. Like one of them was the crime rate in New York. How did they make the crime rate tip down? They cut the crime rate down to like 1/3 of what it was. How did they do that? You with me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
So that's what the book is about.
Okay.
See? And so you're right, it is frustrating, and it was very frustrating to administrations that came along before, God, I'm spacing on the mayor's name who made it happen. But he hired somebody who figured out how to make a tip and make it go away so that there was less crime.
Lindsay Dinkins, what's the white guy? Yeah, okay.
All right.
Never mind.
The tipping point is
Giuliano.
Giuliani, yes, Mayor Giuliani. Thank you, Barb. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Jen?
It's Fran.
Who wrote the tipping point? What's the author's name? Do you know?
Gladwell.
Okay. All right. I am on Amazon and I'm ordering it right now.
Yeah, get an audio.
Okay.
All right.
I don't know if they have it on audio.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I'm sure they do.
I downloaded an audio of it from the library onto my iPod.
You might be able to get on.
Franny got that for me. She made that happen.
You could probably use our library card and download it there.
That's possible.
And don't we have that on the staff page?
If you can't find it If you can't find it any other way, you can call Greg after the meeting.
Yeah, talk to me later.
Okay. So now, to go back to this Nate guy, okay. What happens to Nate is that, in the beginning, see, I was saying at the last meeting that there's two reasons why people tip things. Do you guys remember what they were, or if I ever said? I don't know if I actually did say that. Did I? And if so, what were they?
Yeah, you said that they do it to see if they can do it. Was one of them, I think.
Yeah, one was that. That's right. Okay, what's the other one?
Maybe you didn't say it. I don't remember that one.
Okay. I don't. The other one is that they're fascinated with it.
Oh, right. Yeah, you did say that.
Bill Gates, when he was 14 years old, rode his bicycle the 3 or 4 blocks from his house to the Washington State campus, where they had the only networked computer system on Earth. A freak accident that he lived blocks away from that campus. None of us would be on this call had God not arranged this for us. This is God's work. That's how God works. He put the right person in the right place at the right time. And so we have a global communication network, because without Bill Gates, none of this would have happened. I had computers in the pre-Windows era, and they were glorified word processors, guys. That's what they were. Right, Barb? You were with me. You worked on them.
Yep,
Yep.
you invented Windows.
I did, actually. That's true. I invented it independently of Gates.
That's right.
That's right,
And
babies.
the internet, we were on internet too.
We had an intranet in 1987.
That's right. Internet.
We had one of the first business intranets on the planet. But meanwhile, these are the reasons why people tip things anyway. And the key that you have to remember is when they're doing it, they don't know they're tipping anything. They're not trying to tip something usually. I mean, Giuliani was trying to tip crime, okay? That's different. You know, some of the things in Gladwell's book are about people who intentionally tip things. Like they tipped Airwalk with an advertising campaign. You know, and he writes about that. But generally, you know, Madame Curie didn't decide she was going to try to tip something when she was studying radium. She was just fascinated by it. And mostly...
I think it's because she had an open mind and was curious and noticed things. She observed and asked questions and kept going forward in inquiring about things and said, aha, you recognize what's there or the opportunity that's there.
You're saying the same thing, because if you're asking questions, that's what it means. You're fascinated by it. You have a question. You have this burning desire to have this question answered. And that Bill Gates used to get up. He'd go to bed. His parents were saying they always wondered why he was so tired every day, because he would go to sleep at 10, 11 o'clock at night. What they didn't realize was that he would then get up at 2 a.m. and sneak out of the house and ride his bicycle down to that campus where the computer, this gigantic computer room, was virtually either there would be one person there or nobody. It would just be empty. And it was not locked. He was never locked. Who would want to go in there? He walked in and he would, program for 4 hours and come home at 6 and catch a nap and wake up at 7 to go to school. It's a question, a burning, like he couldn't wait for the next installment of what's going to happen if I program this into this thing. So this is what Nate starts out doing. But within days, he makes a discovery. And it's the reason, we have to go back to the reason I started this Cure Team. The thing that I discovered about people is that, whatever Nate is doing, Immunics or not Immunics, he is not doing as well, doing it the way he does, as if he was doing it the way my imaginary version of him is doing it. Because the thing that I discovered a long time ago is that the people who do the best at this are the people who participate. And I didn't understand what I was even saying back when I started saying that. But now I realize that what I mean by participating, and Barb, I have you here on camera, and you are an absolutely great example of this. Because what I mean by participating is interacting, doing Immunics, curing, if you want to call it, if you want to say that, with another person or people throughout the day, every day, on a daily basis. And one day I realized that you could actually do something like that with Twitter or Facebook. Like if you were talking and then people would talk back to you, it could be, something that was written. Facebook and Twitter can convey enough information. But even Twitter conveys more information than email does. And it's also way more immediate, and so people can back and forth. They can, and this is these are the successful people. I mean, the ones I originally knew were people like Barb, who knows everybody in Santa Fe and hangs. When she goes to a coffee shop, she walks in and decides who she's going to sit with, and sits down. And she starts. Somebody says, "Oh, I got the flu," and she starts curing the guy's flu. She never expected it, and then she spends her whole day like that. Or Kathy, last time I talked to her, she's a waitress, and she was telling me that, oh yeah, this other waitress has been working on her asthma with her, she's helping her cure her asthma, and so on. Or Ron Brody, who's not on this call either, but, who, every week, at this point in his life, every week, he probably, interacts with and helps. And it does help people, several people. And he was even telling me that he talked to, the main guy at work where he works, and he was saying, why don't we have a class, and, I'll show everybody how to cure the flu, and we won't get sick anymore. We can go through the winter, and we won't have anybody out sick, And he gets people to listen to him because people, he's the kind of person who people take seriously. So Nate makes this discovery while he's, he's doing this, and he makes this discovery, and so at that point, it really does get integrated into his cure that he's going to keep talking all day about curing things. And so he wakes up in the morning and he says, the first thing he does when he wakes up is he checks himself for herpes. Because that's how people get outbreaks. They don't check. And all of a sudden they've got a herpes outbreak, and then it's too late. So he wakes up and he says, okay, do I have herpes in any of my bodies? And if he does, he takes it out, and then he writes a tweet. And he tweets and he says, found herpes in my spiral body, removed it. That's the tweet. And the tweet goes to his Facebook, 1,200 friends, and his 1,000 people following him on Twitter. And the actual person, Nate, that we know, actually does have 1,000, or so people following him on Twitter. So, and, an equivalent number of Facebook friends. So, but I mean, this guy is sending, he's tweeting about everything he cures, which is all day. So he's going around, like sending out these things all day, and people are, dropping off as they get bored with it, and but then other people are retweeting it, so his Twitter following starts to grow. And it just, he starts adding people. And, towards the end of the month, after the first month that he starts, he's more like up to around 1,500 people following him on Twitter. He doesn't, like I was saying, he never thinks about tipping it. And in the same way, he had absolutely not a thought in his head about ever getting any money for doing that. But, one day somebody writes to him and says, hey, guess what? I, joined the web college and I started, and now I'm more confused than ever. I got on the hub, and maybe we could talk and you could help me a little bit here. I need a little guidance, I've been following your tweets, but I don't get, exactly how I'm supposed to do, this, but I'm going to do it. I mean, would you mind if we get together? And so, and Nate's also been talking to us, because, see, Nate is the kind of person, he works at Borders, or he studies, or he's this, person who has 18-hour days and sleeps 6 hours, and he's back up and at 'em. But what he does have is little short times, even when he's working, where he can just answer his phone and stop a minute and lean against one of the book racks and talk for a couple of minutes. And so he's been talking to me throughout the week. And the reason is that I've been interested in him because he, his tweets keep appearing in his Facebook, and I sometimes retweet them or share them or whatever. And also, I just, I follow him, I watch him, and I find the guy very, fascinating. He's an example of something that I'm interested in. So I call him every so often, and he can't talk for more than a minute or two, but, I call Ron sometimes at work, and he can only talk for a minute or two, but we manage to say quite a bit in a minute or two. And it's good to talk to him. And that's how I know that Ron is helping people. Because in that minute that we talk, he tells me about who he's been helping. So this is how I know stuff. I call people and I listen to them. I think I want to give you guys a chance to speak for a while. So I'm going to hang back here and hear what you have to say after listening to this stuff that I'm telling you.
Well, aside from the fact that I have some technical problems and I need to clarify a couple of things on how to do this, I think it's another tool like Facebook to get people to know what we are doing. And we can write very personal things, and we have to be careful to be quite clear, because not all the people who read the messages, I think, know about Immunics. So if we talk about removing, installing, and that sort of thing, they will be totally lost. But we can certainly say why we are doing what we are doing, and maybe if I talk about curing my emphysema, some other people with emphysema may get interested and get in touch and be involved.
Yes, I think there's something that comes through every time you write or tweet that people will either be interested or not. And you know, it's not really about explaining, just about being ourselves. And
yeah.
So, I think it's just good for all of us. I don't spend my time tweeting. You know, I saw Jimmy Fallon, who's on TV here in the States, well known. He has a talk show at night and was a comedic performer. He was caught in New York City without power, so he went to a hotel, and someone said, "What's the thing you miss most about being in this hurricane?" He said, "Tweeting." I mean, so many people live for tweeting and Facebook, and it's their way of communicating. So I think in order to really win with this, or even survive, that, you know, this is an important thing to do. In order, quite realistically, in order for us to keep doing this, we have to make money. So we have to have people come in and support us.
Yeah, this is
else
the
it won't be on the net, and it won't be, no, we won't have it.
This is the new way of communicating. It's a bit like if we kept communicating by the mailing list, we will get nowhere. Because it was okay once, but now it's different. Now it's Facebook and Twitter.
Yep.
Hey, Barb?
Yeah.
You know your picture's frozen again.
Yes. Okay.
Also,
So I just turn it off?
just you turn your camera on enough. But so what? You have any thoughts?
I don't know if you can hear. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of, you know, I would like to be the Nate person, you know, that I could see myself doing something like that. I mean, I've already cured my herpes, so I don't even really check for it anymore. And, you know, I realized there's other things I'm working on, or that there's, you know, some key issues in my life that I should start talking about. When I could talk about that way, it might be kind of, you know, sticky if I did it on Twitter or was more out about certain things. I'm not on Twitter yet, really. But, I mean, it's a good way for someone to trade tipping themselves to cure something, because once you're publicly putting it out there, you sort of have to follow it up, or, you know, the people are watching. So I would have to find a new, a new topic, a new issue, a current issue to talk about. Maybe addiction, something like that, removing cravings. Or find some focus. I think I would like Twitter, actually. I like, I think it would suit me. I think I have a smartphone now that I can hook up eventually. But I have to, like I said, I've already cured herpes, so I don't really have that as an issue anymore. I could talk about working with other people. And, and them falling back or not. Like, ours wants to do another movie. I could talk about, I did a movie with so-and-so about such and such and what happened. Yeah, and then they, came back or didn't come back.
Jan, what thoughts have you got?
I just got back. I got cut off. What are we talking about?
Oh, the stuff I was saying. What thoughts did you have about that? Like while I was talking. Before.
What were you? Right.
Being on Twitter.
Okay, I didn't get the Twitter part, but
Big things on Twitter.
Well, you were around for part of it, though. You were there when I was talking about, Nate realizing that he was curing it better because he was interacting with people about his cure.
Yeah.
yeah.
And so on. Like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the way to do it for sure. I know that, my Facebook presence isn't much, but right now, doing the movies for me is like what I can do. I like doing that. That's fun for me. Facebook is not fun.
Uh-huh.
I force myself to do it, but let's be honest. I'm not, if it's not fun, I'm not really going to want to do it. So.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
I don't know. I'm not going to get into Twitter. I'm tempted to say, I'll give it a try, but, I'm just setting myself up for that one, so.
Well, you're doing great with the movies.
Yeah, I like the movies. That's, those are good.
Can you turn your camera on now?
No, my camera's not here. It's with my daughter.
That's right. Well,
yeah.
We are almost done with our meeting, which brings me to Barb. Are you are you able to make it to our movie on Tuesday at noon? Barb? Uh-oh.
Barb froze and now she's gone.
Uh-oh.
I guess she doesn't know yet. I would just like to say something about what you were talking about with Twitter and everything. I think that we all, I've been really guilty lately of not doing, but I think we really have to play often and in full, just keep pounding away on it. And I don't think any of us do that enough.
Well, see, here's the thing. I just gotta say this, okay? Jen, hi, Barb. You're back. Jen, I just want you to know that I'm with you, okay, on this one. I'm going to do what I'm good at, okay? I am not Nate. Nate is an imaginary person who I made up, okay? I made up an imaginary person because it's not me. If it was me, I could just be me, and I'd be the, you know, the story. I could be the story. I wouldn't have to make. I wouldn't have to make anybody up. But I also, as Barb said, I cured my herpes 20 years ago. You know, I can't. You know, I can't share about curing it every day like Nate can. See, Nate's got some. Also, you got to realize, Nate gets. Like, when he calls me up and he says, hey, guess what, you know, this guy called me and he signed up for the web college and I'm going to call him and help him, you know, with getting around curing his thing, you know. And I say, oh, great, you know, you can have a third of what he donated. You know, we're sharing our donations with people when they know they've signed somebody up. And obviously you signed this person up. And Nate says, oh, really? Well, that's, you know, not necessary. I don't, it's okay, really, I'm just doing it, it's a labor of love, you know. And I say, yeah, but, you know, we're going to give you the money anyway, because do you have a PayPal account? Yeah. Well, we're going to give you the money anyway because you're supposed to get it, because that's what we're doing now. It's our program. So Nate says, oh, okay, well, then fine. And so he gets like $7 or something, you know. And all of a sudden, like, Nate's over there, and see, for the rest, for probably everybody on this call, like $27, maybe, except maybe Barb, doesn't mean that much to any of us, you know? Like, it's like, what am I going to do? This is like change, what small change, what am I going to do with this? But Nate is trying to live on $1,400 a month. And so when he sees this $27, he goes, oh boy, you know, I can buy myself 5 fried chicken dinners this month that I wouldn't have had. I mean, he's been living on ramen noodles, you know, he's in college, you know. He's like 30, the guy is 33, and he has been a success in the past, but he decided to go back to school for whatever reason and didn't have the money. So therefore moved to a new city. And this is all based on the life of the real Nate, see? Like, a lot of these things that I tell you are based on real life. But see, this isn't you, this isn't me. We are not Nate. You know, you don't have herpes. You know, if you start tweeting about curing a thyroid nodule, you know, when you hear the rest of the Nate story, you'll realize that it probably wouldn't work with the thyroid nodule, okay?
No, it's too boring.
Yeah, but let me say that your movies, on the other hand, are getting viewership from people who are serious about curing thyroid nodules, and I'm looking for serious people like you. So you really are doing great with the movies. You know, as far as the practical realities of tipping cure, you know, we're doing what we can to tip cure here. And that's the key issue, is the phrase, what we can. Because, you know, what Franny was saying is, I start getting these ideas about how it's supposed to happen. And then what I used to do was try to get everybody, like I would try to get everybody to do tweeting, you know, or something. It's just not going to work. What would happen is 2 years down the line, after tweeting your little head off, you'd be sitting there and going, gee, you know, boy, that was a lot of work, and we're still nowhere. And it's if we're going to be nowhere in 2 years, we might as well have fun now and all through the 2 years. You know, like fix.
I agree with that. I think that all we are doing is good. And I had to laugh when Jen was saying she didn't like doing Facebook, you know, because I hate to say it, but that's the way I feel about exercise. It's just, if I had to laugh, because, you know, the things we like are so different. Of course, you have a nicer body than I do, but I'm smarter.
What we like.
Well, you can stop cackling now, Franny.
What? I thought we were supposed to have fun.
Well, we are
Yeah.
definitely having fun. That's one thing I will say. You know, I'm actually pretty happy with the way it's going. But see, the thing is, what I used to find when I tried to when I would come up with this idea about how it was going to go, and I would say, okay, we all have to do this, this, and this. And people would start like really making an effort, and then somebody would say to me, well, Byron, you should stop eating during these meetings because, you know, like you should be on camera. That would help too, you know. And so it would all blow back in my face. So I'm not doing that anymore.
Okay.
You know, that's over. That phase of my life is over. But what I know...
Your meeting has been out of the way, so I think the result was gotten.
When I create, thank you, Franny, when I create these simulations, and there's a lot more to this simulation that I want to tell you, but, you know, we'll just take it up again next Friday, you know. The exciting part is yet to come. I'm just setting the foundation now by telling you these facts about this guy that I'm creating, my character that I'm, you know, dreaming about, writing about, whatever you want to call it. He's my fictional character. Oh gosh.
I'll be during the meeting.
You what, Barb? Huh?
I'll volunteer to eat during the meetings.
Okay, very good.
I'll take that I could do.
One thing I love about you, Barb, is you always have a suitable wisecrack for any occasion. That is worth the price of admission to your life, you know. I need wisecracky people around me. Greg is like that too. It's one thing. If he's called upon to make a wisecrack, there's always one there. Anyway, no, this is.
You have me speechless.
This is you really. This is good, you know. So I don't know what else to. I think this is a good stopping place. It's almost a quarter of. And does anybody else have any burning thing they want to share? By the way, I did film this, Jen. In case you want to hear the parts that you missed, you can always, you know, cue the movie forward and back and just, you know, listen to those parts. I'm going to... have you found my YouTube account so you can just go straight there to get movies?
I've been... Yeah, I have.
The CureDrive...
You have a couple of accounts, right?
The CureDrive YouTube account.
Okay.
And if you subscribe... What?
You have one called The Cure Guy.
Yeah, that's right.
And then is there another one, or is that the one?
All the new ones go on the Cure Drive.
Okay, the Cure Drive.
And if you click through the movies...
Yeah, I found you guys through YouTube.
Yeah, right. So if you click through the movies that are on Facebook, it takes you right to the Cure Drive, and then you can find all the new movies that go up whenever they come out there. So.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna make a new Twitter account.
Hey, Paul, thanks for sticking with us. I really appreciate you. And
yeah, you're doing great, man.
Thank you.
I got all that you talked about today.
All right, I know you do. I know you do. You have a magnificent mind, Paul, truly.
I'm staying strong as I can over here.
You are. I love you.
Holding up the middle of North Florida.
That's right. You got to hold that part up. We don't need no stinking hurricanes.
I got one for you. I went to the dump the other day and I stopped by the VFW. Talking to some old men around 80 years old, sitting there having a drink at the bar. I was drinking ginger ale. And I got talking to him and he says, well, I don't talk about politics. And I don't talk about, what's the other one?
Religion.
Religion.
Yeah.
And says, I do talk about sex. What do you say? He said, fuck you. guess he doesn't talk about any of them. No, and I found out a little more about, how people act, like you were saying. To add to your talk here earlier, a lot of these people, they got the point in their lives where they just don't care about nothing. I don't give a damn. I'm like, these people wanted me to join the VFW. I'm going like, I don't go to bars too much. Maybe watch some music and play some pool if I get on the pool table. They got one up here for $0.25. I mean, it's just trying to talk to people like, say, like Barbara hits the streets, and I hit the streets here, and I got all these rednecks and old geezers to mess with. Tired people. Sometimes it's like talking to an Oak Street. Yeah. Weird, man. It's like these people are totally tuned out. I mean, they're not tuned into nothing but me, and then that's it. But when you get old, you do get kind of put up a lot of walls, and you start learning how to be an idiot instead of being open-hearted and free.
Yes, I've noticed
and
that.
Their place. That's where they need to stay. They wouldn't have all this.
Yes, I've noticed that.
They never cleared out. Never cleared it.
And now I'm going to say, let's link our etheric bodies together, and see you, some of you on Tuesday for our filming, and the rest of you by Friday. And Franny,
Tuesday morning or Tuesday evening?
Tuesday morning, noon my time, 10 your time.
6 our time.
Okay.
Yay!
PM.
Yeah, I guess our times are going to change on Sunday. All right, guys, thank you all and love you. It's wonderful to be with you.
Thank you. I had such a great time.
Thank
Oh, I'm
you.
so
Have a good
glad.
weekend.
See you later.
Ciao ragazzi.
Bye.
Arrivederci.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Ciao, babies.
Ciao.